This is an MG Midget 1500cc engine out of a 78 Midget, and the engine number is FP37540UE, and it's been completely rebuilt by Jerry McSparron, JMac Engine Rebuilding, and it's ready for a run-up. I have a makeshift test stand here. I've got a flamethrower dizzy, and I've got a Weber carburetor, and it does have a slight intake leak because I wanted to reuse the gasket, so I didn't put any kind of sealant on the gasket, and I just can't get it quite tight enough in order to keep the leak out. So it may run just a little rough, but I'll show you that here in just a minute. And I have a makeshift fuel pump. It's just a pressurized gas can, basically. And the water system, I have a hose hooked to an old water pump. Remove the water pump, just put a plate on there, and it does have a thermostat, so it will, when the engine gets hot enough, it will kick that off, and then we'll start seeing some steam coming out. And so time to fire it up and see if we can make it run. I did have it run earlier, so I'm sure it does. And we'll check out the oil pressure. There's about 800 RPMs. Got the timing set just about right, right about 12 degrees before top dead center. I'll show you how you can test for a vacuum leak or an intake leak. I have some starter fluid here, and if you have an intake leak, if you were to spray the starter fluid up underneath or wherever you think that there may be a leak, just make sure that you don't get any of the starter fluid fumes into the carburetor. Of course, that'll make a difference, but I'm going to spray it up underneath, and it should level out just a little bit. If it has a leak, it'll level out a little bit. Here, that RPM picked up about 200 RPMs. And it picked up again. So I'm sure that there's it's sucking just a little bit of air past the underside of the intake. But it's running very smooth. Show the oil pressure. There's my test stand, and engine RPM's just a little high, but oil pressure is running about Oh, about 50. Get the RPMs down just a little bit. Oh, there you can see the oil pressure is about 48 to 50, somewhere in there. So we'll speed it up a little bit. And there's about 60 pounds of pressure at a little over 3,000 RPMs, holding steady. And dropping back down, about 50, 48. And now we got plenty of steam. That's not from the exhaust. I'll show you the exhaust. No smoke, and a little bit of moisture. I'm sure the exhaust pipe was been sitting a long time. That concludes our little test. This is March the 16th of 2013.